31st of May 2023. I'm starting a new, let's call it, section, and it's called Rip Off the Bandaid. In this section, I'm going to handle some of the stuff that we see on the news and so forth, but I'm going to take a look at what is really going on there. The stuff that they don't tell us, the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, the things that we should actually take into consideration and not just look at what they are presenting into our faces and pushing into our faces. And I'm going to start the series with talking about Kosovo. Now, many of us, we just hear the name and we hear the place and we don't actually know where the hell the place is and what it is, but the problem comes when these half or ill-informed people start making statements and comment on things that is happening there and they don't even know where the hell the place is. Now, just to get some background on it, Kosovo was part of Serbia, and NATO and the EU machined a problem there, and that province broke away from Serbia. And lo and behold, in a flash, the EU and NATO allies recognized the Republic of Kosovo. But it was a horrific fuck up there. And what NATO did there, the bombing of Serbia, and it was horrific. And they used depleted uranium and poisoned the people. And they didn't have the approval of the UN. But they did it, as they usually do. They don't need an excuse to kill people. They have the right to kill people. It's only other countries that need to explain themselves and give good reasons why they attack people, and then they must face the possibilities of being charged for war crimes and all that cock. What NATO did there, every leader of the EU and every senior personnel member in NATO should be charged with crimes against humanity and war crimes. That is what should have happened there. But no. But in any case, let's get to the current fuck up there. They started stirring shit there just as the Ukraine thing started, and I've said it in a Skidmarks that is just another evil plan by the EU and NATO to try and divert the attention of the Russians, because the Russians and Serbia has a great relationship. And the EU hates it. America hates it. But then there in Kosovo, they held elections for new mayors. And the ethnic Serbs in Kosovo boycotted that election because they said it was an illegal election and they boycotted. In the end, the election was run, and here comes the kicker. What was the percentage of voters that voted? You are not going to believe this. 3% voted. How's that? 3% voted, and last weekend the Kosovo guys decided they're going to install those new mayors. And the ethnic Serbians resisted and enrolled some NATO forces. And they were stirring the pot heavily. Serbia put its military on full alert on the border, but not invading. Russia came out and said, look, they're 100% behind Serbia. But, okay, let me just give you some background before I get to the real but. Tensions between Serbia and Kosovo flared up once again last weekend after Kosovan police raided Serb-majority areas in the north of the country and took over local municipal buildings. There have also been violent clashes between the Kosovan police and NATO peacekeepers on one side and local Serbs on the other side. And take note, those local Serbs were unarmed. However, the brutal NATO bombing campaign of 1999 still fuels conflict between the former Yugoslavian nations. NATO effectively bombed Yugoslavia into the modern-day political status quo, the separate states of Serbia, Montenegro and Kosovo. The devastating NATO intervention cost the lives of 2,500 people and injured over 12,000. It was the first time that NATO used military force without the approval of the UN Security Council. Although the media claimed that only military spots were targeted, NATO attacks destroyed schools, libraries, hospitals, bridges, churches, TV stations, tens of thousands of houses and apartment buildings, and 470 kilometers of roads. That is what that NATO did, that terrorist organization. That is what it is, a terrorist organization funded by the US. And then some out of the darkness pops a light, and it is shining right into the eyes of the NATO cretins. China understands and supports Serbia in defense of sovereignty. China is very attentive to the relevant events supports Serbia's efforts to protect its sovereignty and territorial integrity, said the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Mao Ning. And how's that? She noted that Beijing calls on NATO to respect Serbia's sovereignty and promote peace in the region. It seems that the coalition of countries opposing NATO is starting to expand, and this is just the beginning. Now this is something to take note of. Russia is already committed to supporting Serbia, and here comes China and does the same. And what happens next? Out flies Secretary Antony Blinken from under the couch there in the shithouse in Washington, and he tweets like hell. We strongly condemn the actions by the government of Kosovo that are escalating tensions in the north and increasing instability. We call on Prime Minister Albin Kurti to immediately halt these violent measures and refocus on the EU-facilitated dialogue. The United States places sanctions on the provincial government of Kosovo and Metohija and institutes a ban on taking visits and making meetings with Kosovo Albanian politicians for the foreseeable future. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has made a tweet expressing condemnation of Albin Kurti and his government over the escalation which has occurred in the northern part of Kosovo and Metohija in the previous days. That is a nervous cat making nervous jumps, because things are not going well for them in Ukraine. They're getting their asses kicked. Yeah, but you guys that only look at MSM and Western media and so forth, you're gonna differ from me. Go to the ground. Look at the realities. The Russians are grinding that NATO supplied weapons up. They're grinding that NATO infected forces up. They are just destroying everything the West is throwing at them. Why do I say they are aware of seeing their asses in Ukraine? Why is Blinken suddenly trying to stop shit in Kosovo? Because he knows. Maybe he doesn't know. Somebody sent him a WhatsApp there from the City House, most probably from the Pentagon. Said to him, Papi, you better get up on the horn there and calm things down. We cannot fight in Serbia, against Serbia and Ukraine. And the Chinese has now joined the opposition. Get things under control. That is what I think what happened. NATO, the EU, and the US are going to get their nuts in the vice. And who's going to spin the spindle? China. I hope you enjoyed this. Please give it me a like and subscribe and share the thing. And on the sharing, there are people that tell me they can't share my stuff because I am too brutal with my verbal outbursts at stages. Now the reality is, Skidmarks, Briekmerke is not trying or will ever try to be politically correct. I call a spade a fucking shovel if it's needed. And that is how I operate. And if you share it, the person that you're sharing it to can most clearly see it is me talking, not you. So don't feel that you will be implicated in being verbally violent. That is me being that. So share the shit out of the thing. People need to hear the truth. Thank you for your support and have a great day.